Grows into Belveth then, or what?
Smith.
What is happening? Hold up.
I am so confused.
Yeah, it's Ground mid lane, and then Gwen top.
So, we've got Gwen and Aatrox in the top lane, Lilia against Rammus in jungle, then Belveth against Gragas in the mid lane, Ashe Sivir bot lane, and Karma Nautilus support picks. I don't know what to say about this, actually. I mean, Belveth mid, any thoughts?
I mean, I know Belveth is quite strong.
But I mean, probably no level 1 shenanigans, I would imagine. But if you can go, I think it's Windows Shift Z and then zoom out, or it might be Control Shift Z. I'm not sure. There you go. That's a little. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, there should be okay. So both teams going for a level 1 invade on their top side. I don't think they're going to be meeting anytime soon. Also, if you go into the eye, then the bottom left, you can pull up the scoreboard as well.
What's oh shit.
The eye, yeah, and then the scoreboard, and turn off the time controls as well, and the objective timers at the very bottom. The last thing. Okay, we're sorted. League client has been figured out. We're here. We're in. So, I mean, I can't imagine there's too much of anything going on. Obviously, the Techno Gremlin and Duke of Jamming on this Ashe Karma definitely quite difficult to get on top of for Nautilus. Like, even though he does have he's not necessarily the highest ranged engage in the game, but he is, he's decent. I do think he will struggle a little bit though. But also, I think this bot lane is kind of fine to just sit on their side of the map. I would imagine Brainiac would be playing mostly for Christian Simeone and Fanxy in this game. But I'm very curious how this Belveth does. He's kind of just dashing straight across. And Gigirox might get caught. Darkened Blade catching on the sweet spot 2 times in a row. Fanxy just zoning Gigirox off the wave completely. And I mean, yeah, I don't really see anything crazy happening for a little bit. But Weebly may be looking for something in bot lane. Just walking up to threaten a little bit, staying away as much as they can. But definitely, I wonder, like, will we be looking at the Belveth playing pretty much just for lane? Will it be trying to get out of lane? I don't know, to be honest. But I mean, it's gonna take a little while for a lot of the champions in this game to come online. So obviously the Aatrox can be quite strong early game. That doesn't really struggle too much early game. It definitely a little bit of scaling as well, but the Gwen definitely needs a little bit more time to get online to get some items and get whatever she needs. I mean, yeah, it will be a bit of a slow start. A couple of small trades in the mid lane.
Okay, well, it doesn't seem like Belveth does any damage whatsoever.
Yeah, he does have to flash away already. The Powerball coming in from Choose You. And really just, like, before she gets those items, before she gets those on-hit passives from her finished items, really just does struggle to do any kind of damage whatsoever.
Does she get the bonus from minions as well, or just camps?
I know she gets it from minions, but I'm not sure which minions. Weebly trying to catch them with the dredge line, but just connecting with a caster minion. But I think it's not every minion, because if it was every minion, you'd have 100 sacks at 10 minutes, and that would be completely busted.
Right.
But I don't know which minions it is. I think it might just be cannons.
But that's still really bad, though.
Yeah, that still feels like it's really slow to stack, because obviously they're only coming in every 3 waves, and I think after 20 minutes it's every 2 waves. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think the Gragas with the belly slams finding it fairly easy to trade in this mid lane, as we see both junglers coming in for an early 2v2. The Powerball does connect onto move for Brainiac, and the Taunt goes down, does have to flash, and both teams just going to leave it there. No flashes for the mid jungle of BSU. Fanxy really connecting with these Darkened Blades in the sweet spots every single time. But, I mean, that definitely hurts a lot for both flashes up for Blaziken and Choose You on the Rammus and Gragas, so obviously both good users of flash as well. But the Darkened Blade sweet spot connecting again, just go for the flash and the ignite, and it is going to be the first blood solo kill for Fanxy.
Yep, that's what happens if you don't have flash on the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, This is a lane where it's so difficult to play in if you're playing against someone that might be a little bit better than you, or if they're playing a champion that's quite good into yours. I don't know off the top of my head how the Gwen Aatrox matchup goes, but
Well,
Aatrox,
I think it's really good for Aatrox.
yeah, I can't imagine it's too bad, but we have another gank going into bot, and Nympho Brainiac just about managing to catch up. Weebly tries to get the hook in to stay safe, but Choosey is there to help, and Technogramma having to flash out after being told to Choosey, but Technogramma is going to fall to the Nautilus Ignite, and Nympho Brainiac just going to try and get out with his life, but a huge Ignite going on down to Cargilly. Nympho Brainiac is going to be the second to fall. It's another kill for Nautilus. Nothing in return just yet, but Christian Simeone is here, and he is going to pick up that free kill onto Cargilly, and I mean, I would like to say the 2-for-1 would be worth, but when both of those kills are going on to the Nautilus, it's a little bit bleak, especially when
Well, I
gets
don't know.
so much from she does get so much from kills early
I think
game.
early game kills on the support isn't the worst because you can transition that lead into other leads. So I
Yeah,
don't think it's the end of the world for AU.
yeah.
And
I mean, you would
looking,
prefer them to be on the ADC, but it's not like I said. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not the end of the world, really.
and this Rammus has been a maniac, to be honest.
Yeah, he's been all over the place, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Both of the early ganks from Nympho Brainiac, the pre-6 Lilia ganks, both answered by the Rammus, along with his own gank. On top of that, still a little bit behind in CS, but I mean, obviously Rammus, once he does get some armor, once he gets going, he can definitely be really difficult to deal with, especially when you've three essentially just auto-attacking champs. Obviously, Aatrox a little bit more casting in there as well, but with those Thornmail buffs, definitely going to be doing a lot of damage to the amount of auto-attackers on the team. But one thing to note is that is an Ashe ADC building the Mandate build, I believe that is.
Oh, man, he also has Comet, so his yeah. I mean, he might not go for Mandate, but he will go for like this cooldown W on W.
Because the dredge line does land onto Techno Gremlin, but the root from Karma just about managing to keep his ADC safe. I'm sorry about that. I thought maybe a little bit more coming from that, but I don't think any sums were used in that fight anyway. But I mean, obviously Karma, very, very good disengage, especially early game with the focus resolve. Really easy to peel. But first Drake going the way of absolute units. Chizu really putting on quite an impressive display on Rammus. But fact he's going to go straight into the top lane with the World Ender, Nympho Brainiac right behind him. And I don't think he's going to need to use Hizzle. In turn, he will. And Gwen falling asleep and waking up to an angry Darkin. And it's the second
kill on flanks
in this lane. Did go for the Hex Drinker rush, so Judgy Rock's life really going to be an absolute misery.
Yeah, and it's not just for Judgy Rocks either. It's for literally everyone but Cipher, basically.
But Choosey and Weebly might get caught out here. Duke of Jamming with the Mantra Q going straight in. Can't get out with his own Powerball and is just going to trade Weebly's life away to get out himself. Only one casualty, but it did go on to Christian Simeone. And I think if you look at map state, obviously being 2 kills behind isn't great, but Belly Slam not going to be enough to get away. Does use the ult to try and get out, but the focus resolve going to keep him in place, not long enough or in the position where they can do anything with it. But basically, just about managing to get away with his life. But I mean, as I was saying before, you can see obviously being 2 kills and about 1.2k gold behind definitely sucks. But when you look at who those 2 kills and that gold is on, I think it becomes a lot more of a bigger problem.
When do you gain the minion? Like if you on Belvet, if you kill minions, you get your own minions. When does that happen?
That's when you take the Herald or the Baron,
okay.
and you get the upgraded Coral like she did just now.
Yeah.
So this is when the lane Belvet really gets oppressive, because obviously what I usually see is Belvet top, right? But I'd imagine it applies in a similar way. But what I do see though is that the junglers will usually give the Belvet the Herald.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's
she's gonna
fair.
go back into mid lane. I don't know if she's going to use it. Obviously, it still has a little bit of a wave to clear. It doesn't have really.
I would use it. It's just free gold for you.
Yeah.
And you have a
And you can
hell of
see
a lot. Yeah, what the hell?
Minions are there. Maybe looking for something in the top lane. The Snipsip does go down. Fancy not quite able to land any of his Darkened Blades, but does have to use the World Ender move speed to get out. And Christian Simeone with the Herald and all of those minions in the middle lane. That is just so much gold onto that Belveth, and you know how much of a problem she becomes when she gets gold on her. Weebly not able to get into the mid lane in time to do anything. He's just going to go back and take his Raptors. Obviously, another more Death in Lavender sacks coming from that tune. You can just see with the serrated dirk how much damage the sweet spot of this Darkened Blade is doing. Really just chunking Judgy Rocks down every time he gets hit by any ability. Not opting for the Seekers early, just going to go straight for the Leeching Leer. And obviously with the Aatrox with his Darkened Blade sweet spot, it increases in damage with every cast as well. So you know, if you do get the third cast in particular, is really going to melt, especially because I think he is going for Eclipse.
Yeah, I will.
Mm.
It's not a bad call anyway.
Mm.
I wonder if Judge is going to be able to recover from this tough in laning.
But you can see it. One thing though is that Techno Gremlin is really far behind on this Ashe.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because he's building the Mandate Ashe, so like you're just gonna build cheap items anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say obviously if you played against Mandate Ashe, you know how oppressive it can be. But the third cast of the Darkened Blade, the Flash Ignite, and Judgy Rocks is going to fall for the third time. 2 solo kills.
Goddamn.
And one with help from the Lilia, and you can see the third cast of that Darkened Blade in combination with the passive auto attack. But the Dredgeland does land in bot lane. Duke of Jamming having to use the flash to get out. Nympho Brainiac is coming straight down here with a lot of movement speed. Cargilly just not able to get away with the focus resolve and the Ashe passive slow. He is going to fall asleep, and Nympho Brainiac picks up the first kill. Nautilus also falling asleep. Weebly flashes away in an attempt to keep his life, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Nympho Brainiac picking up 2 kills. And I think those blooming blows, if you can hit them in the sweet spots, they just do so much damage, even early game, and it's I don't see a way back into the game now. Especially when you have
not looking good for AU at the moment.
This Belveth scaling as well, really just so difficult to do anything about. But Judgy Rock's going to try and catch a Christian Simeone. Does see him first because he is in the brush.
Christian failed.
He didn't actually fail there. I will explain this afterwards. The above and below does land to get him out.
Or what?
But no, it's not that. What happened, right? He was in his true form. He was in the Belveth's true form after the Herald, and as he went to Void Surge over the wall, it ran out, and you can't Void Surge over walls in your normal form. So it wasn't really a mistake necessarily. It was just really unlucky timing. But a 3-man gank into mid lane. The taunt is going to go straight down. Manages to catch him out of the flash, and Christian Simeone, the above and below does land. But that is a Nautilus ult into a Powerball, and that is a belly slam shutdown for Blaziken, and I think definitely gives him a little bit of a window back into the game now. And you can see Judgy Rock's really struggling to do anything in this top lane, but one thing that units do have going is these dragons. You can see their second dragon of the game is going to have absolutely no problem taking this, so definitely delays the game a little bit in terms of getting to, you know, the likes of the Soul and the Elder. So definitely takes a lot of pressure off them. They won't necessarily have to contest if it's bad for the next 2 Drakes or so, but
it could be their win con.
Yeah.
Soul. Like Rammus is still a very scary threat for AU.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, the only thing is that he doesn't have any Mountain Drakes to help him here. Obviously the Mountain Drake's really powerful after the last patch.
Yep.
But doesn't have any, unfortunately, because we are going to get I can't actually see your minimap is too big, so I can't see what soul it's going to be.
It smaller, I think.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But you can see where you see how there's only 3 objective timers. The dragon and the baron are below that. But it's all good. But the above and below does land onto Blaziken in the mid lane, and it's not going to be enough. But the Ashe Arrow does land onto a mid lane. The Ignite goes down along with the Flawless Banquet, and he is going to fall, but so will Christian Simeone in turn. The Rammus diving straight into mid lane does have to flash away from Nympho Brainiac, and the W and Q combo may be enough to kill him as the bowling ball does land. That's another kill for Nympho Brainiac, but Cargilly so strong, so difficult to get away from with his passive move speed on his auto attacks. As Simmer damage already starting to ramp up. But I mean, you can see, obviously, the explosive cask almost managing to save Blaziken. Not quite, but one thing to note is that Fangxi has been pushing in. Yeah, thank you, Director Camera. Fangxi has been pushing in this wave in top lane pretty much the entire time, and that is going to be That is first tower. That is an extra 400 gold. 450 gold for Fancy. And he has already got this Eclipse and this Hexdrinker, and for what I assume will be Merc Treads next, will definitely be really, really difficult to deal with. It's like 3 AP topsiders, a heavy CC jungler. All 3 members of Absolute Units here sitting around topside, maybe looking for something, but I think Fancy could probably take on all of them, to be honest, with his position.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes for Lucidity boots, to be honest, because
yeah, I was thinking that too.
They don't have that many like stuns.
But the Void Surge is going in to initiate a fight. Weebly does manage to get the Weebly, excuse me, does manage to get the Dredge line out, and the arrow. Oh no, that wasn't actually the arrow. But Rammus is the first to fall there. Weebly going to be the second victim, and the refresh on that World Ender for Fancy. It's a double kill for him. Judgy may be able to pick one in turn onto Nymphobrainiac, and it is going to be just one for him. The 3-for-1 at this current time, but they are not finished yet. Christian Simeone definitely in a position, excuse me, to continue going, but just gonna go back off and go straight for that Herald. You can see how much emphasis they're putting on that Herald with the Bel'Veth in their middle lane. One thing you can see now, since I believe it's just last patch, and I'm going to have to interrupt myself, because the focus is always going to catch Judgy out. They are looking to try and contest this. They don't have a smite, there's not much they can do. I don't actually know who got that, but the Ash Arrow lands, goes just wide. Christian Simeone with the above and below as well. Managed to pick up a kill on top of the Herald, which he did get, thank you. But it's just another kill, really. I mean, you do kind of have to just, backs against the wall, throw everything at them and just hope something sits. But really just not looking good for Absolute Units at all.
Yeah, I mean, the BSU's comp is really, like, they're ahead. Fangsy's 5-0. It's really obnoxious for AU. Yeah. Especially the Ashe, because Ashe is just gonna arrow off CD if he needs to. And the cooldown is not gonna be long either, since he's building Mandate Ashe. Like, he wasn't even there in the fight, and he even hit an arrow. So
yeah,
that's
I know, yeah. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is really just doing so much work, along with the volley as well. But the above and below does land onto Weebly, and this is going to be another kill. The Conqueror fully stacked, just waiting on a Void Surge reset for Christian Simeone to pick up this kill, but the explosive... and the Dredge line pulling him out of the way! The Mantra Q from Duke of Jamming is enough to finish him off in the end. And I think... I kind of wanted to see him escape with that.
Yeah, same. That looked really sick.
Yeah, the Dredge line pulling him out of the way of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the explosive cast, getting this angry Manta Ray away from him as well. But you can see from the pings in chat, Suzu definitely thinking about going for the Drake, but Simeone is gonna get another tower down. The World Ender does come out for Fancy in the top lane. The directed camera does not want us to see what's going on up there. The World Ender just about ending, but we have another fight going on in the bot side jungle, and I don't actually know what happened there. He got slept, but
I think it's I don't know. I think it's Nautilus. Never mind. I don't know either.
Just going to fall in the end to this Deathbringer stance, but I don't actually know what happened there, because I know that the Lilia did activate the Lilting Lullaby onto Rammus, but when he used the Soaring Slam, it seemed to cleanse it.
Yeah, because you're unstoppable if you use that, so...
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're unstoppable during that ult, aren't you? So when the actual sleep goes through, the explosive cask, it was a good try, but it's not enough to take it down. That is going to be the first strike on the board, and it is Mountain Drakes. I was wrong because I couldn't see. So, I mean, you do have these 2 Drakes on the board, and I think it definitely would be a lot nicer if at least one of them was a Mountain Drake for Rammus and Nautilus here. But
yeah, but Rammus still hasn't finished his first item.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna finish it now.
Oh my god, yeah, Christian Simeone with so many of these minions in bot lane. He's just hitting the tower for free in front of Judgy Rocks. Placing the Herald as well. The above below does land, and he's going to go for a small trade. Yanis Mankey, not really enough to get anything done, but Nymphobrainiac looking to get a passive burn.
I feel like Christian still doesn't do any damage. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing
he's not doing much, yeah. I mean, one thing about the Bel'Veth with the Royal Maelstrom is that you do need the to be a little bit lower for the damage to really kick in, and as well, even though she's fed, it is only 20 minutes into the game. Like Belveth is really like she has like kill scaling almost. And he did also he did go for a tank mythic, but gonna see another dive into top lane. Fanxi gonna get caught out by the taunt. Cargilly just sitting back, does get hit by one of those stances, but Duke of Jamming just managing to flash away from the explosive cask, and the TP does come out from Blaziken, but it's just going to be completely 0 for 0. Not many sums used. I think it was just the TP from Judgy Rocks. Actually, I thought it was Blaziken, but it was Judgy Rocks. Because Blaziken is already up there, so I'm just a genius, clearly. But Duke of Jamming using that flash as well, so really just a 1-for-1. The Dredgeline just about able to get Weebly away from trouble here. The volley not landing, but these Aatrox Qs, they're just doing so much damage if he hits the Darkened Blade in that sweet spot. Cargilly, after just 2 Lilia abilities, can't walk back up. Blaziken's gonna get caught out by the above and below. Christian Simeone not going to follow up on his damage at all. But BSU gonna start up this Baron, and I mean, I don't think there's any way you can stop them really. You can't really contest this. They're gonna try and get that mid wave out to just damage limitation more than anything, but
I mean, sadly, the game is looking kind of over.
Yeah, it does look quite over.
I don't think this is recoverable.
Yeah, trying to push out the lanes as much as possible. With the Enchanted Crystal Arrow just going wide, Jidgerox and Choose but they've stood there way too long. The Bowling Ball does land, does have to ult away over that wall. And you can just see it's so difficult to get anything. Blaziken does manage to pick up a tower in the bot lane, which is definitely a nice objective bounty, but still just so difficult to do anything. You can just see the power of this Belveth splitting all game. I definitely think the Silver Ricochets will help a little bit, but I mean, Weebly,
I know. It's not looking like it's doing something.
Maybe looking for a depth charge or something onto this Belveth, but she's just gonna void dash straight over the wall onto safety, and there's really just nothing you can do because she is just so tanky. She does so much damage, and she is so tanky. So I mean, obviously you can see the armor pen, a little bit of armor pen for Fanxi. Obviously the Black Cleaver does apply to everyone's damage because it removes the armor, it doesn't penetrate it. But I think
Fanxi's a monster.
Yeah, you probably do want. I mean, I don't even know what armor pen items Belveth can build, really. I'd imagine BC would be okay here, but I don't really know. Do you know if the Black Cleaver passive stacks? Like, does it remove like 60% if 2 people are hitting?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't? Okay, fair enough. Oh,
can't you just build crits on Belveth? Like, is that another thing?
Yeah, you can, yeah. But Fanxi gonna take this top tower, much to the frustration of Judgy Rocks, and another fight going on in top lane. Christian Simeone getting caught out by that taunt, but the Endless Flank is not enough. And the Ignite going to finish off Judgy Rocks in the end. And the Nautilus ult is not enough to hold Fanxi in place, even with that Glacial Augment. And it is just such a slaughter across the entire map. An absolute massacre from BSU. Just letting no way back into the game for absolute units.
There's nothing that they can do. Fanxi's unkillable at the moment.
Yeah, it's just the power of this Belveth, the flash Q into the midst of all of them, and the sleep. Nautilus is the only one that does get caught out by that. Really just managing to flash away a World Ender and flash over the wall. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow does land onto Blaziken, does pick up a kill in turn, but he is going to fall in the end. And my god, is this game difficult to cast with how many things are happening on my screen at once. But obviously,
that Belveth ult did a lot of damage there.
Yeah, it does. It's like an AOE Garen ult, is how I see it. But just so much damage. The Royal
they can end the game here.
They are going to look for the end. I think Nympho Brainiac on very low HP. Fanxi tanking up tower for some reason. Christian Simeone is next on the list, and he almost getting executed. But they're not going to go for the end yet. They've decided they want to have a little bit more fun in this game. I mean, I think even if they were behind here, this game, they still scale, like, extremely well.
Yeah.
But it's just so difficult to do anything, especially when everyone on your team is just so far behind. But Nympho Brainiac gonna get this second Drake now for BSU, excuse me. But you can see Aatrox going for Black Cleaver, and after finishing the Maw is going for a Cyrilda's next. So really just at that point there's so little you can do against it, but the Darkened Blade's just about landing over the wall. The World Ender to catch up to Tuesday does have to flash out of the W, then another Q landing perfectly. These Darkened Blades do so much damage. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes just wide. Powerball just about managing to get Tuesday away from it. Hanksy just running straight at the entire AU roster. Made so much damage. The above and below is enough to hold Judgy Rocks in place long enough to fall. And Choose You is next on the hit list as the Darkened Blade takes him down too. Nautilus does fall asleep. The above and below is enough to keep him in place to fall as well. And Blazicus and Cargilly are the last two survivors of this massacre. And it is just Cargilly left on his own now. And I think it's safe to say this was a walk in the park for BSU. Jacob Drumming finding himself in a little bit of trouble on the tower, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow does land on him and spawn, and they're just choking them out of anything they could have. And I mean, 25-minute game didn't look doubtful at any point, to be fair, but
sad. There was a dream.
There was a dream, and I have got no more channel points.